Hey guys, good morning. Red Black greetings. This is Flamengo. Today the bad boys are on the field in Sao Paulo, huh? Yeah, and we have to defend those 3 points. We need to win because Palmeiras beat Sao Paulo. It's not bad because Flamengo lost to Sao Paulo, right? The game is away and Flamengo still has to face Palmeiras at Allianz. We know that we've only been winning against them recently, right? We have a big advantage over Palmeiras. So if Flamengo wins their 2 games in hand, Flamengo will surpass Palmeiras on goal difference and Flamengo will be ahead of Palmeiras. As for Sao Paulo, Flamengo could also overtake them, but Flamengo didn't have any more direct matches against Sao Paulo. So Palmeiras and Flamengo both have 2 direct matches with them, right? So we have to think about it that way. But anyway, Palmeiras won. I demand that Flamengo wins today to keep the same points, right? The same dropped points. Bahia is also playing against Remo away from home. If Remo wins or draws, that's an excellent result, okay? So here we are, just like that. Hey guys, greetings, red and black fans. This is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. If you've just arrived, please follow, like, and share on all platforms. On YouTube, subscribe, turn on notifications with the bell, and leave a like on the video. We're here to remind you that you can secure your spot at Flamengo's games. That's right. And today, nobody gets away with owing us, huh? Today we have the U20 Libertadores final. Today Flamengo faces Corinthians away from home. Man, over there at Neoquímica Arena, we'll bring you all the information. And you can already start the Libertadores journey. Nobody gets away with owing us. We're going for 5, huh? And the final is in Montevideo. It's a rematch. Can you imagine? Flamengo and Palmeiras in Montevideo. A rematch. Flamengo could win their second Libertadores final there in Montevideo. Yeah, Flamengo has already won there. For those who think Flamengo only lost in 2021, that's not true. Flamengo won in 1981 with Zico, okay? That's right. Flamengo has already won there. So it's a place where Flamengo has already been champion. But now Flamengo needs to win it back. But let's go. We're going to get there our way. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications by clicking the bell, leave that cool like on the video, always share our live stream. And it's very important that you make sure to be at Flamengo's games with Geraldo's Caravan. It's in the pinned comment and in the description. Pin chat as well when we're live, so you can contact them on WhatsApp and book your packages to make sure you're there. Both in Rio, with ticket included and transfers, with accommodation, with everything, and also outside of Rio. There are games that will take place at high altitude. In Peru, in Cusco, against Cusco, also in the city of Cusco. You can take the opportunity to visit Machu Picchu. There's also a game in Colombia against Independiente Medellin, the closest one here in the Americas. You can also take the opportunity to get to know a bit of Colombia, and you can also enjoy eating that parrilla there in Buenos Aires. Flamengo, Estudiantes de La Plata, so make sure to get all your packages. And by the way, we already have all the dates set. Broadcasts, we already went over everything here in the previous videos. You can already contact Geraldo's Caravan about the dates and set it up with them. We're going to start our video here by bringing you the information about today's matches. We have the Under 20 Libertadores. The match is at 6:30 p.m. Brasilia time. We have the match taking place in Quito, Ecuador. It's the final of the Under 20 Libertadores broadcast by Sport TV, Flamengo TV, and UOL. And the probable lineup for Flamengo: Leo Nanete, Daniel Salles, João Vitor, Da Mata, Gustavo Ramírez, Kaio Nobrega, Luiz Felipe, Guilherme, Ryan Roberto, Alan Santos. The star player of the team, Ryan Roberto, Alan Santos, and Josmar. The coach, Bruno Pivete. The probable lineup of Santiago Wanderers. Who eliminated Palmeiras? Palmeirinha was eliminated. Fabiano Avedio, Amaro Silva, Benjamin Madasmi, Christopher Valenzuela, Taizo Bahamondes, Alexander Dubois, Cristobal Villarroel, Cristobal Ponce, Lucas Avedanho, Ignacio Flores, and Christian Silva. The coach, Felipe Salinas. Flamengo so far has 4 wins and 1 draw, 10 goals scored. It's also the new record in the Under 20 Libertadores for unbeaten games. Man, Flamengo has already taken the lead. So that's 4 wins, 1 draw, 10 goals scored, 3 goals conceded. Rian Roberto, 18 years old, is Flamengo's top scorer with 3 goals in the competition. So today we could become 3-time consecutive Libertadores champions and compete in another World Cup for this age group. Flamengo is a 2-time consecutive world champion. Look, we're going to bring you the latest Flamengo news now. You'll be watching footage of Mengao's training, okay? The last training session before the match against Corinthians. While we bring you the information about the upcoming game, okay? So you're watching the training footage. Today, Mengao faces Corinthians at 8:30 p.m. at Neoquímica Arena. God willing, with Flamengo already U20 Libertadores champion, it's the 8th round of the Brazilian Championship for Flamengo and the 7th round overall. Record TV will broadcast it on free-to-air TV. Premiere on pay-per-view and Kaze TV on YouTube. Remember, if you're abroad, you can always watch the game on Flamengo TV. But today, since Flamengo isn't the home team, there won't be any footage, right? No footage because Flamengo isn't the home team, okay guys? So Flamengo isn't the home team, so there won't be any footage for viewers abroad. I got confused earlier, but Flamengo TV will always have commentary. So you can put it on the broadcast and follow along with João Guilherme's commentary. Just tune in to where it's airing and listen with João Guilherme, okay? Probably Flamengo lineup: Rossi, Varela, Leo Ortiz, Vitão and Alexandro, Everton Araújo, Jorginho and Arrascaeta, Luiz Araújo, Samuel Lino and Pedro, okay? This is the probable lineup for Mengão. He's not changing the team much. He's keeping a starting lineup, which is very important for Leonardo Jardim. Saul Niguez and Bruno Henrique are injured. Pereira and Eric Pulgar are suspended, and Gonzalo Plata is out by decision of the coaching staff. This is our exclusive information. It was a decision made by the coaching staff, okay? The player, they decided not to take the player. The player was not included in the squad, okay? It's important for us to say here that anyone who isn't 100% committed won't be included in the squad. And we've seen that Gonzalo Plata's playing time has decreased a lot, right? His playing time has been reduced since Leonardo Jardim arrived. If he's not in line with the coach's methodology, he won't play, he won't be in the game. And what's more, I think that's what ended up hindering Felipe Luis's work, okay guys? That's what really got in the way of Felipe Luis's work. We know that the fans had already noticed. They were already complaining about Gonzalo Plata, and Felipe Luis kept insisting on starting Gonzalo Plata, right? And then that ends up making the Flamengo fan also lose his patience with the insistence that Gonzalo Plata be the starter in many games, right? And with Leonardo Jardim, the player is losing his spot. Look, we're going to bring some information here that we mentioned yesterday, but it's important to bring this confirmation here. We're also going to talk about the mayor of Rio criticizing what was done to Jorginho's daughter, but we're going to talk here about the Rio City Hall, which reached an agreement and cleared the way for Flamengo Stadium. The new mayor of Rio, who's a Flamengo supporter now, right? Eduardo Cavalieri stated that the Gasômetro land is guaranteed for Flamengo to build their stadium. According to him, an agreement involving the City Hall, the federal government, and the Attorney General's office, the AGU, eliminated any risk regarding the area. The decision was coordinated in a meeting with President Lula, Minister Esther Dueck, and also involves the City Hall, the federal government, and the AGU. In other words, the Gasômetro land is guaranteed for Flamengo without any risk, declared Cavalieri, the new mayor of Rio. The move strengthens negotiations that had already been underway since 2025, when the club and the City Hall made a commitment to keep the stadium project at the site and move forward with feasibility studies, okay? This information was also reported by Diário do Rio, okay? So, this is very important information. And man, we also have another very important piece of information to share with you, right? Regarding what happened with Jorginho, right? And we're also going to talk about the Palmeiras situation, right? About those hysterical people from Palmeiras. So, we have an important situation to bring up here, which is that the mayor of Rio de Janeiro, man, he released a statement saying that the singer who disrespected Jorginho's daughter will no longer perform at any show in Rio de Janeiro promoted by the City Hall, okay? Look at what he wrote. I want to say that as long as I'm in charge of our city, this young woman, Chapelle Roan, will never perform at Todo Mundo no Rio. I doubt Shakira would do that. He even tagged Shakira on top of it. By the way, brother Jorginho, the midfielder from Flamengo, your little girl is already an honored guest of the organization in May. Okay? So, inviting Jorginho's daughter and letting that Chapelle Roan know that she has no respect in Rio de Janeiro, right? So we've been following how this whole situation unfolded, right? It was absurd, wasn't it? A shame. Even worse, her followers, her fans in front of the stage were cursing Flamengo as if the mistake was with Flamengo and not with the singer they follow. And I'll say more, huh? We have a situation. So Otto, yeah, what is it, son? We have a situation which is important for us to talk about here regarding the issue. That this singer, has a history of avoiding hugs from fans, of running away from fans. So, it's a situation that's already very common with this so-called Chapelle, right? Chapelle. It's crazy, man, what she did to Jorginho's daughter. We're with you, Jorginho. Hold on, I'll get the little one over there. Friends, let's talk here now since we were discussing Flamengo and Corinthians. There was Radio Crackneto bringing the information that Flamengo was going to try to sign Memphis Depay. And our reporter, I sent Gabriel Orff, our reporter, to Flamengo's hotel, in the hotel lobby, waiting for Jose Boto to come by so we could investigate this story to confirm if Flamengo... We already had information that Flamengo wasn't going after Memphis Depay. We reported that yesterday. But now we've brought an update, man, right in the eye of the storm. We went to Jose Boto. There in the hotel lobby, he asked the question and Jose Boto answered. Let's check out what Jose Boto said and we'll be right back with the opinions of Mengo's fans.
Jose Boto, Flamengo's technical director, exclusively with Paparazzo Rubro Negro. Boto, we heard the news that came out on Radio Crackneto about Flamengo's possible interest in Memphis Depay, who is also being targeted by Corinthians. I wanted to know from you if this is true. What can you say about this situation?
No, although he is a great player, a world-class player, he is not someone we are interested in at this moment. I need to ask you something now. Where is Paparazzo? I haven't seen him in a while. Only you are here.
Paparazzo is over in Orlando, but he'll be here soon. Oh, okay.
Go.
He's with his son there. He's with his son there who's growing up.
A hug for him.
Thanks, Boto. Look, he's here. The kid is here. He's with me here, man. I don't show him much to people, but he's here. He's always here. Right, son? Always here. Look, guys, Cabral Rubro Negro, Paparazzo, always well remembered. Man, he remembered me. That's really cool. I'm happy. Look, Carlos Abrantes is saying, God forbid I prefer Yuri Alberto. I prefer him too, okay? And he's cheaper. Gabriel Citero, question about Luis Henrique and Marcos Leonardo. Look, it's done now. We're not going to bother him at the hotel anymore because it's done. We've already asked the question. Maybe next time? Look, Augusto Cesar RI. Man, Memphis Depay is an amazing player. Anyone who says God forbid doesn't know anything about soccer. Corinthians won many games thanks to him, but he's pricey at 7 million. Flamengo also said they won't pursue him. Alexandra Sampafla saying, full of confidence, huh, Paparazzo? No, my reporter, man. My reporter went to the lobby, tried to talk to the guy, and the guy spoke, okay? People say God forbid, then others complain about them saying it. The son growing up, Paparazzo. Thanks, TV Boto. Me all chill. Memphis fits Flamengo, but I wouldn't pay him what he makes at Corinthians to play for Flamengo. I wouldn't pay it either, okay? B. Santos. What credibility, Paparazzo? My reporter has credibility. He went there to talk, right? Maybe it's because he asked, where are you? The guys are here. R.H. Almeida. Where are you, Paparazzo? I'm out of Brazil, but it's fine, right? I'm present with my reporters and with the amazing work we always do covering Flamengo. Really close with my reporters, always traveling. Paparazzo with credibility. Thanks. Michael Mengo, 97. Lucas GB, 02. Boto's not even crazy, meaning he's not going after it, right? Then a lot of people. Robson Vinny, not even for free. Saleh's not even for free. Papa has to come back. He abandoned. I didn't abandon anything, man. Here. Am I going to abandon? How could I abandon? Look at this, man. We're here taking care of the baby so my wife can have a little break in the morning. Yeah, look at that. People say he can't play, but he can. Sorry, but he can play. He's just expensive. Even for free, it's expensive. No, it's not really expensive, but it's just that he's really expensive. A guy said, I'm just seeking attention, but Radio Crack NATO brought it up. We're just stating facts. We spoke to Boto and he denied it, okay? Okay, yeah. Cacho 5.0 says, if it comes from Nito, be suspicious. Yeah. Stop with the nonsense. This guy is a small team player. Look, I also think it's too expensive for Flamengo. He's not a small team player, but he's too expensive for Flamengo, okay? Milionário Ribeiro. How is it? Milônio Ribeiro. Memphis is only good for Corinthians. A lot of people are thanking God that Boto. People are happy he's not going after Memphis. They're congratulating us. Paparazzi is top. We're together, brother. Here, it's always about work, bringing the best information. Many say we have influence, but it's just hard work, brother. A lot of people are also saying, thank God, thank you, Boto. No, not even for free. So, people are giving thanks. Marcos Leonardo is better. God forbid. Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's better to go with Marcos Leonardo, right? With Kaio Jorge himself. I think Marcos Leonardo is easier, huh? Leonardo Jardim thinks he's an interesting name. Felipe didn't really have much. It's not that Felipe vetoed it, but it wasn't the name Felipe wanted, right? It wasn't a veto, but it wasn't the name he was prioritizing. Even more now, right? Since Flamengo... Man, Leonardo Jardim likes Marcos Leonardo as an option. And for us to talk here, I was talking about the Gonzalo Plata situation, right? That he wasn't listed for the game against Corinthians. He didn't travel, and it wasn't because of an injury. It was a decision by the coaching staff. It's important for us to say this here. Gonzalo Plata has lost his place with the current coaching staff. I've heard from board members that any player who doesn't have... They didn't specifically mention Plata. They were speaking generally. A player who doesn't have commitment, dedication, right? That a high-performance athlete needs to have, won't have a place. This goes for Carrascal. It goes for any other player who, by chance, thinks they can follow the path of those who are already being sidelined, right? Sidelined, in quotes. The fact that he's not being included shows that the player... If a player is young, a high-performance athlete, and he starts not being included, it's because there's something going on. If it's a decision by the coaching staff, there's something going on. If he's not injured, there's something going on. So let's hope he starts to recover, right? And may everyone else see this example and also start thinking more about being a high-performance athlete. And another thing, okay? I had already told you here when Leonardo Jardim arrived. Do you remember? I had warned here that, and I've been saying this since Felipe was still here. I used to say that Felipe really liked the player Gonzalo Plata and that he was a player who wasn't on the non-negotiable list, okay? He wasn't among the non-negotiables. He could be a player that Flamengo would demand a high price for, but he wasn't on the list of non-negotiables, okay? Luis Araujo was. I told you that several players were on that list and Plata wasn't. He was actually on the list of negotiables. Players who, it's not that Flamengo wanted to sell, but if a good offer came in, Flamengo would sell. Now, more than ever, right? If a good offer comes in, Flamengo will negotiate a deal for Gonzalo Plata, right? I see people saying, hey, for Cruzeiro to send Kaio Jorge, we send Gonzalo Plata plus cash. I mean, huh? I mean, if Cruzeiro wants Kaio Jorge wasn't even listed for the game. Who knows? Take advantage of it. One on one side, one on the other. Just go ahead and trade Kaio Jorge for Gonzalo Plata. The good thing for Cruzeiro is this. Gonzalo Plata is Atlético Mineiro's nemesis. He'd already show up as the scorer of the Galo de Plata. He's the guy who sealed the first title at Arena Galo Cego. The first team to be champions at Arena Galo Cego was Flamengo with a goal from Gonzalo Plata. There you go. At Cruzeiro, he's already fitting in, right? The guy who's already Atlético Mineiro's nemesis. Well, let's go. Let me bring this to you now as well. What's up, son? What is it? We're just hanging out here, man. We're just chilling. Look, now let's bring the statement from Abel's assistant after Palmeiras win over São Paulo. It's almost absurd. These guys, it's a method. I've already told you. I've already said it's a method, right? They always do this, okay? And Layla called the men hysterical. She said that men are hysterical, that they're always out there yelling, complaining about refereeing. She said she doesn't complain about refereeing. Why doesn't she complain? Because your team's assistant complains, because Abel complains, because your under 20 players complain, because your professional players complain, okay? And once again, the hysterical one from your Abel's assistant's assistant complained about the refereeing and once again talked about the Brazilians. They're always talking about Brazilians, always criticizing either Brazilian football or Brazilians themselves, the behavior of Brazilians, always the same thing. Let's listen here.
A card to make up for Enzo Diaz's card. Andres got that card to make up for Enzo Diaz's. It's part of it. We already know what the rules are here. Look at that.
That Andres got a card to make up for Enzo Diaz's card, the complaining because of a yellow card in the press conference. If you give São Paulo a card, you must give Palmeiras a yellow too. We already know how things work in Brazil.
That influences things. It was clear. This compensation, we've already been here for 5.5 years to know what the rules of the game are.
We've already been here in Brazil for 5.5 years. We already know what the rules of the game are. Look at that. Always accusing, always talking. And that's because Leila says they only complain in the right place. They go straight to the CBF to complain. That's a lie, Leila. You complain in the press conferences.
Maybe there was some instruction at halftime to balance the game. Suddenly he stopped calling fouls. We also don't understand why.
Observe how they complain that he stopped calling fouls for Palmeiras. It's a tactic so Palmeiras keeps getting favored. They do complain publicly about the CBF and refereeing, even though Leila says they don't. She tries to attack others by calling them hysterical, but the hysterical one is actually their own coach, their own assistant, their own players.
But we feel it, we're in there, and that's what sometimes gets us a little worked up. Because the game was so calm in that aspect in the first half, and suddenly in the second half, Arias goes on the break, gets pushed, nothing, play on. Then it's a little touch, that's a foul, then another foul, then pushes a little more, then it's not allowed. Another yellow card, and things start to shift a bit. The thing is, we don't know if these are instructions or if it's just part of controlling the game. But one thing is certain here, the law of compensation works very well, and we already know that. When the opponent gets a yellow card, next we're going to get one to make up for it. Brazilian soccer is like this, not just Darren, all referees do it.
Brazilian soccer is like this, it's not just Darren. He talks about Brazil again, always attacking Brazil. He's always attacking Brazil and complaining about the CBF. Who represents Brazilian soccer and manages it? The CBF? And she says no, that he only complains directly to the CBF. That's a lie, Leila. It's a method.
That's how the game is, and that's it. We're here to adapt.
We have to adapt to Brazil, right? What madness. Once again, you all are complaining. Who are the hysterical ones, Leila? It's your own professionals, whether it's the players or the under-20s who complained a lot on the field after being eliminated, who don't know how to lose, your coach, and even Anderson Barros, your director. Do you ask them to do anything? I'd like to know that. Are you the one who tells them to complain and then you go to interviews and pretend that's not how you act, that you only complain directly to the CBF? What a shame. That's it. I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe below, turn on notifications, and don't forget to leave a like on the video. Regards, João Brunegas. This is Flamengo. Thanks. Today, 3-1 Mengão, God willing.